Prepare to get excited for another chapter of Bleach, my friends. Another chapter where barely anything happens. But there is some good news. The big badass Aizen has returned in this week's chapter, and he's kicking ass all while confined to a chair and covered in black Shinigami duct tape. Proving yet again that Aizen is not handicapped, he is just handy-capable. Okay, so this week's chapter of Bleach was really simple. Basically, it was just Aizen saving all of the Shinigami from the massive army of weird cycloptic blobs which had been summoned by the Quincy leader. Now, this was more impressive than last week's chapter because we actually got to see him in action using his Hado abilities, which basically just obliterate everything, leaving like a massive crater in the middle of the freaking like universe. It's freaking awesome. I loved it. It was definitely the coolest thing about this week's chapter, but really that's about it. Really the rest of the chapter is just all of the other Shinigami characters who are basically just disagreeing with Shunsui, saying that everything that he's doing right now is a really bad idea. Even though he's only unlocked like a few of his seals and he only has a few abilities that he can use, look at what he has been able to do while just strapped to a chair. It almost makes no sense, but Renji even brings up the fact that he might even be more powerful than he was before. And that makes no sense whatsoever. The dude has been strapped to a chair. What has he been doing the entire time? Flexing his ass muscles? As much as I would really like to elaborate a little bit more on this chapter, that's really all there is to it. The best thing about this week's chapter really is just getting to see the reactions from the various Shinigami and those who are actually now working with Aizen, and how they all realize this is just an absolutely terrible idea. There's a nice tense confrontation between Rukia and Aizen, but again, it doesn't really go anywhere. I was honestly expecting something else to happen this week. Maybe someone else is going to show up and sort of spice things up, mix things up a bit. But just the fact that Aizen is helping out and still strapped to a chair doing all these crazy things is still pretty exciting. I think the strongest element of this week's chapter by far is definitely the artwork though. In particular, that final panel where Aizen just has that nasty grin on his face. And I also loved this one panel where right as he's about to do his Hado attack, there's this shadow that they actually put over him, and his face looks so creepy and demonic. It kind of resembles a skull, or kind of like the hollow masks that we've seen previously in the series, and I thought that looked really awesome, just again to demonstrate that Aizen himself is powerful and helpful right now, but it's only a matter of time before he's going to betray everyone and probably try to enact his own plan. Maybe this has all been a part of his plan from the beginning, who freaking knows. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? Another very simple chapter of the series, just reaffirming that Aizen himself is ungodly and probably going to be very helpful in the final arc of the series, but at the same time could end up being, again, the final villain and sort of stealing all the limelight from the Quincy leader. I don't know if it's going to happen that way, but just the fact that he himself alone was able to take out that massive army of creatures and none of the other Shinigami could do a damn thing, and they're not even confined to a chair and have all their abilities, really speaks volumes for his power. And it is kind of a cop-out, just the fact that maybe he's become more powerful as this has been going on. Maybe Aizen hasn't even been strapped to the chair the entire time. Maybe this has been some sort of weird, clever trick, like when you're trying to get away from school and you create like a fake dummy and put it in your bed and pretend that it's actually you and you sneak out and go on a crazy adventure. I don't think it's going to be like a big 80s high school adventure for Aizen, probably more on the war side, but I can't wait to see where it's going. But the biggest positives about this week's chapter is the artwork, seeing the reactions from all the other Shinigami, and that's pretty much it. I'm still pretty excited to see what Aizen is going to do, but I'm more interested in seeing what's going on with Ichigo and the crew, because they've basically been falling for the last two chapters, just falling in the air, and we haven't even like seen what's going to happen to them. Either A, we're going to get back to them and they're just going to still be falling, or B, we're just going to go back and it's just going to be like freaking Wile E. Coyote falling over in Looney Tunes and we're just going to see them in a big dust cloud at the very end. I don't know where this is all leading to, especially because they haven't even gotten back to the Fullbringers, freaking Kenpachi, all the other characters. There are so many other things to wrap up in this final arc, and as much as we all want to believe that it's probably coming to an end pretty quick, we probably still got a little while to go. I mean, they did say that the final arc of the series was going to be the longest, and we could only really be at the halfway point, especially with Aizen finally getting involved here. But still, that's pretty much it. That's really all I have to say about this week's chapter, which was basically just an average chapter of Bleach. Another setup chapter, which is meant to get you excited for some of the new characters and some of the action that is coming. So I'm going to give this week's chapter a 3 out of 5, all saved by Aizen's incredible personality. You guys definitely need to check it out if you're fans of the Bleach anime series or the Bleach manga series. Check it out. Pretty good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. Before you guys leave, make sure to tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of Bleach, where Aizen had one of his big shining moments of the final arc of the series, and what do you want to see from the rest of Bleach. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Make sure to also check us out on social media like Facebook and on Twitter, and make sure to like the video. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.